My name's Christina, and my wife's name is Katie. We have 2 daughters from reciprocal IVF, and we are now traveling as much as we can with them. And I'm a miraculous mama.
Thank you, ladies, so much for coming on the show. Welcome to Miraculous Mamas, everyone. I have Katie and Christina Bailey here who are going to share their journey of motherhood, give us some travel tips for toddlers, and they have quite an IVF journey I've seen too. So I have lots of questions for you, and I'm so excited that you're here. So thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
We are so excited to be here.
So will you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So as you mentioned, we are Katie and Christina. We have been married for coming up on 7 years now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We do have 2 little ones, and we did reciprocal IVF. So meaning we took Christina's egg and I carried.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And so how old are your daughters?
Our daughters are 3 and 1 currently.
3 and 1. How fun. So Katie, you carried then both times?
Yes. Correct.
How did you make that decision?
Well, we kind of took the 2 parts that we wanted most. So I really wanted to experience pregnancy, and then Christina really wanted to, for whatever reason, pass on her genes. So it was something she was really passionate about. Apparently she has some good genes, so it's a good choice. The kids turned out pretty cute. So yeah, that just felt right for us. That way we could, there's no right way to create a family, but for us, this was a great option because we could both participate in the journey. So during reciprocal IVF, we're both actively doing our parts.
Yeah.
So Chris, it's kind of like IVF, and then each person does half of it.
Yeah. How was that? I know a lot of people who listen go through IVF. How was that journey for you?
Well, at first we walked into it thinking it was going to be like this amazing journey, and we knew everything that was going to happen. And in the end, we had planned on getting pregnant with twins. We just had this perfect little family picture in our heads that we would just end up having 1 boy and 1 girl and our family would just be complete. And life took a different turn for us, and it turned out to be a pretty emotional roller coaster for us, just wondering if we would end up having a baby eventually and how we would end up having a baby, since things that we wanted weren't going as we had planned. So I would say it was very emotionally draining, definitely financially draining, and just full of many different paths that we weren't sure what we were going to take.
Yeah, it's a good recap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard the IVF, that's what a lot of people say is it takes such a toll emotionally on you, when you're going through it and you want a baby, and there's so many women out there who are struggling or in that season of life. Do you have any advice for them?
Definitely be there for one another. I think it was hard. It was harder for me because when we were going through all of it, I was on my summer break since I'm a teacher. And so I wasn't working at the time. And Katie kind of had to push herself to go to work every day and just keep going. But at the same time, it kept her mind off of the process. Whereas me being left alone all day with my thoughts had me thinking too much about things and trying to figure out what we were going to do. But still, at the end of the day, when Katie came home, she was always there for me. And we were always willing to talk about how the other one feels and considering all thoughts of what our next decision would be.
Yeah, so it's definitely hard on a relationship. So that should probably, at least for us, that was our number 1 priority, is keeping the relationship strong because, we were each other's support systems.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have 2 girls now. Sorry, what are their names?
Kennedy is the 3-year-old and Charlotte is the 1-year-old.
All right. I wrote them down on a different piece of paper that I forgot to bring with me. Perfect. How cute. And I have a question then about, did you guys use a sperm donor then for it? Or, and if you did you use the same one?
We did. We used the same donor. So he's an anonymous donor from one of the cryobanks. And we actually did facial recognition. So it's really cool. We used a picture of my face and you upload it to their site and they like analyze your characteristics and they match you with a donor who has similar facial features.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Wow. Technology is so cool.
Yeah, it was definitely really interesting to see who they came up with. Some were, I was like, oh gosh, that's what I look like. And then,
that's me as a man.
yeah. And then others were pretty close. So that was pretty cool that technology exists.
Yeah. It's like that Snapchat filter right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you done that? That's exactly what it is.
It's crazy.
I did it and I look like a different ethnicity. It's weird. Really? Like I just look like, I don't know. But is it weird that I think that it's kind of attractive? I'm like, I'm kind of hot as a guy. Is that weird? Like I'd date me.
Well, yeah. And people say that we look a lot like we're related. So I don't know. I guess sometimes you end up meeting somebody who looks somewhat similar to you and you find them attractive. So I don't know. Maybe that app is onto something. Right?
I actually heard recently that there is some sort of study that you're attracted to people with similar features. Because and somebody once told me that me and my husband looked like siblings and then I got weirded out. I was like,
right? Yeah, but that happens a lot.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish I should look up that study, but yeah, it was something along the lines of you're attracted to people with this like similar. I don't remember. It's like something along those lines. So that's why people tend to sometimes look alike when they're together. But so I would love to hear a little bit about the birth stories then of Kennedy and Charlotte.
Yeah, well, they're pretty simple, actually. So with Kennedy, our first daughter, she was breech, and they kind of kept an eye on her, and she wasn't turning. So I, tried to float in pools and do handstands and all the things, but she never flipped. So they scheduled a C-section, and honestly, the whole childbirth process kind of freaked me out. So I felt pretty comfortable doing a C-section. I was like, okay, well, we're both big planners. So knowing that on this day at this time, we're going to have a baby. So it worked out really well for us.
Yeah. We were actually supposed to have her early in the morning and Katie drank orange juice. And so they said they needed to, delay the C-section just because who was it?
Because I drank orange juice.
One of the
anesthesiologist.
Yeah, the anesthesiologist didn't like the fact that she had juice 24 hours, less than 24 hours before it happened. So
I was. Oh, by the way, they said you could have water or juice up into X amount of hours, but orange juice was the exception.
Right. It was supposed to be clear. Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah. But they weren't specific, were they?
Exactly.
No. But Katie had set an alarm at 11 o'clock at night or something crazy to wake up and eat beforehand, even though she had been sleeping.
I didn't want to be hungry.
That's how dedicated she was to not being hungry. I would have slept right through it.
So, I think that's important, though.
Yes, thank you. It obviously didn't work out very well for me since I had to wait all day without eating. But what was really annoying is I ended up having a different anesthesiologist because it was now the evening. And he was like, oh, if I was on call, I would have let you do it. I was like, great. Don't tell me that.
You're just making it worse.
Right. So that was it. Our hospital was really great about making the C-section as non-medical as possible, I think. So the moment that Kennedy came out, they basically gave her to me right after and laid her next to me. So I got to see her right away. And so that was nice. We got to bond.
And I think it was also with Kennedy, we had been really nervous the entire pregnancy since it was a high-risk pregnancy for quite a bit of it. And I think it was just a relief to actually see that there was actually a baby in there and that she was okay and she looked like a baby. I think we were just so hesitant the whole pregnancy, wondering if we were going to have a baby in the end. And I remember at first just like waiting to hear her cry, like feeling such a relief that, okay, our journey is, over right now. Like there's a baby here.
Really here.
She's ours. Like I can't believe this baby is ours. Like I just remember thinking about the little embryo picture that we held at the beginning, and like now just seeing her here was amazing.
Yeah. I love birth stories. That's awesome though. So they made it like as non-emergency as possible. So it's not like when you picture people being like, oh, we're rushing you in and you're having a C-section. It was more of like, all right, so you're here and you got to, it seemed more of like a birth process instead of, oh my gosh, trauma,
Exactly. Because I've heard these stories about people having C-sections, and even when the baby's fine, sometimes they take the baby away for a while and they don't see them right away. And I just heard all these crazy stories, but no, I had her right there with me right after she was born. So
I recently discovered there's this thing called a gentle C-section where so that's something that because I work as a doula, and that's something I'm integrating into my practice, because a lot of women, when they're planning for birth, you plan all these different things, but nobody really tells you what happens when you go into a C-section, and that you still have some options. So knowing, what all goes into that, and knowing, okay, even though I'm going into a C-section, I can still ask for this. I can still ask, can my music be played? Can I request silence? Can I, still have skin to skin? There's all these different things that you can request so that you still feel like you have some options in a situation that sometimes feels out of your control.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, cool. That's exciting. So Kennedy's here. You're both in the room, obviously, then. Yes.
Well, Christina fainted for a little while.
I did faint at one point.
She was back in the room eventually.
I was going to ask,
I remember, C-sections involve a lot of blood. And I just remember after Kennedy came out, I went over to cut the umbilical cord. And I remember looking back at Katie and just seeing all this blood everywhere, because obviously they're cutting into her. And I said I started to feel lightheaded, and then they said, you look too pale. So they kind of walked me out, and I don't remember a lot, but apparently I walked. I don't remember. And they had Kennedy on Katie for a little while, and then they brought her to me, and I sat and waited while they got Katie all stitched up, and then brought her out to see me and Kennedy.
Yeah. All right. I am going to tell you about one of my favorite news services. And with summer upon us, I definitely want to look and feel my best. I'm training for a half marathon. I am healing my gut. And Sakara is helping me on that journey. They make organic, ready-to-eat meals with nutritious and delicious plant-based ingredients that are designed to help you look and feel your best. And they have amazing meal programs. They have their signature program, a detox program, which I love doing at least one detox a year just to kind of reset my body. And then I just found out they have a bridal program. So if you are getting married and you want to look and feel your best on your wedding day, definitely check out their bridal program. And their meal plans are designed to enhance your energy, improve your digestion, which we all know I need help with that, and help with healthy weight loss. And the menu of chef-crafted dishes, it changes weekly, so you don't get bored. They have amazing plant-based meals and a few of my favorite items. They have a wild mushroom pasta that is amazing, a sunshine curry bowl, and lavender tea biscuits. Anything with lavender, I absolutely love. But it's a really cool program, and it's an awesome way to reset your gut, reset your health, and refocus your mind and just really work on feeding your body nutrient-dense foods that are good for you. I also love they put little information on a superfood that's in your meal that day on the container that it comes in. So it's really cool that you get to learn about the foods that you're putting in your body to fuel yourself. And right now, Sakara is offering the listeners $60 off their first order when they go to sakara.com/mama. That's Sakara, SAKARA.com/mama to get $60 off your first order. Sakara.com/mama. Join me on my health journey today. How was the healing experience from the C-section then for you?
It really wasn't bad at all. I kind of expected the worst. And I mean, I feel like with any childbirth, there's quite a healing process. So with C-sections, I would assume it's a little bit more, but because I had Christina's help, it really wasn't too bad. I mostly just needed help picking up the baby in the beginning, getting up once we were back at home, getting out of bed for a couple of days was hard because that's silly as it sounds, just going from laying down to sitting up was hard. But that was about it. The pain was manageable. It wasn't a hard recovery at all. I think I was lucky, especially because I wasn't in labor before. So I feel like people that go through hours and hours of labor and then have a C-section, that's a really tough recovery. But I didn't have that. I just had the C-section. So the recovery really wasn't bad at all.
Yeah. It's such a different take on it because I hear so many birth stories and you just hear more of the extreme sometimes, it was an emergency C-section and my recovery was horrible and all these things. So it's nice hearing from someone like you who's like, you know what? A C-section was fine. It was still a good experience. My recovery wasn't bad. I don't know if you're just being really positive or
No, I'm kind of a big baby. Christina will tell you. I complain about a lot of things. So I'm probably the best person to ask that question. But no, it really wasn't bad. Especially I used I can't remember what they're called. They're the
patch things.
Yeah, where you wrap the belly bandit thing that you wrap around. That helped a ton.
I've heard
that.
So
you just kind of feel like you're together,
Yeah. So at what point did you guys decide to go ahead and have another kid?
Well, we had wanted the kids to be about 2 years apart since that seems to be what everybody does in life. Seems like siblings are always about 2 years. So we had just planned that, around Kennedy's first birthday, we would just start the process again. And we had already known that we just want to use one of the embryos that we already had because we still had, I believe 9 embryos still frozen. So we debated on having the embryos tested because we really wanted a boy. But it's not really recommended that you test frozen embryos because they have to unthaw all of them, test them all, then refreeze. And so you might lose some in the refreezing, which scared us a lot because we didn't want to not have the possibility of not having a second child. So we just took our chance and, had one put in because we had a lot of trouble putting 2 in the first time with Kennedy, and we wouldn't want, a scary pregnancy. That's what we were trying to avoid when we put just one in, and instead we still ended up getting a scary pregnancy.
Yeah.
We just thought everything would go so much smoother the next time because we were so aware of everything and we knew, all the different things, and we knew that it was better to use a frozen embryo and it was going to go great. And then, getting the news that we were pregnant and then being told that it was either ectopic or we were going to have a miscarriage was just really hard on us.
Yeah.
So we pretty much mourned for, I don't know, it's a while. Yeah, just waiting, just sitting there waiting, watching Katie's body, making sure we didn't miss any signs of, because we're pretty scared about the ectopic pregnancy. They said you really have to watch your body and go to the hospital immediately if that's happening. So we were just kind of scared the whole time. And then Katie, I remember I was at work, texted me saying like, oh, it's happening. It's a miscarriage. And yeah, she just kind of came home and waited. And then the cramping it just stopped and nothing happened. So she bled out a little bit, but she didn't think it was a miscarriage. But either way, we scheduled the ultrasound for the next day just so we could confirm that, okay, it's over. We're going to have to try again. Just try to remain strong.
And there was Charlotte's little heartbeat.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we waited. And that day was kind of, it was funny, not really funny, but we sat in the waiting room for a really long time. We were thinking like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. They're making us wait so long to like see nothing on this ultrasound screen. Like this is just so sad. Yeah, they were really busy that day. I had nothing against them, but we were just like, oh my gosh, this is so long to wait for such a depressing day. And then when we got in there and saw the little heartbeat, we just started crying because it was just such a relief. And they said that it only happened in his time of doing this. And of course he sees tons of patients. It's only happened one other time that a baby was born after showing all the same signs that Charlotte had with the beginning of that pregnancy.
Yeah.
If you don't mind sharing kind of why did they say that it would be an ectopic or a miscarriage?
They track the hormones, the HCG levels. And so our first blood test showed the levels being pregnant. And then they continue to test you every 2 to 3 days. And the numbers just weren't going up. They would go up a little bit, but not the way that they're supposed to. And the way they were trending was either a miscarriage or the ectopic pregnancy.
Yeah.
So the doctor said with, the numbers that we had, it's very, very rare that you get a healthy baby from that.
Right. And you're doing progesterone shots too, which are, supporting the pregnancy even more than necessary. They give you everything to try to make sure this pregnancy is possible. So the fact that we had, all these things going into Katie's body to help support a pregnancy, but the numbers weren't producing like they should. It was just showing all bad signs going from there.
Yeah.
But she beat the odds.
She did. She beat the odds. It came out, and that was another. I was so scared when she was born too, wondering, is she gonna be okay? She look okay?
Yeah.
every ultrasound, I think our OBGYN thought we were crazy. Like, does she look okay?
He's like, yeah.
She looked like a baby. Is everything okay in there? Can you zoom in on that?
Yeah. He said only one other. So that means Charlotte just really wanted to be here.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
She shows it. Yeah. She makes herself
known. So then how was the rest of that pregnancy then?
From then, oh gosh, I was so sick.
We thought she was a boy for sure because of how sick Katie was. We're like, it's a boy. We started calling the baby the boy name we had picked out.
It was the opposite of the pregnancy with Kennedy. The one with Kennedy, besides, a few of the complications that I had, the way I felt was fine. But with Charlotte, I was so, so sick. Oh my gosh.
Every morning.
Yeah. Severe morning. Not even every morning. It was every minute of every day.
Did that last throughout the pregnancy?
It didn't stop until the very last trimester. Yeah. It was not fun.
That doesn't sound fun.
No, but it's pretty common.
Yeah.
So
I kept telling her that she was going to come out to be this beautiful baby.
Yeah, I was
because that's why she gorgeous. Was so sick. And she actually is. She's a really, really cute baby. So
she's just stealing all your beauty, sucking the life out of you, taking it all. So then with Charlotte then, her birth, since you had a previous C-section, did you just kind of plan for another one?
Yes, exactly. So they gave the option to do a regular birth, but it kind of freaked me out because, and it was something that I was open to, but the doctor said that because of the hospital that we were delivering at, if it depends on what anesthesiologist is on call. So some will allow you to get an epidural if needed, and some will not. So I would have to go into it knowing that I would have to have a natural birth, which I would be open to, but I would like the option, you know?
Right.
So I decided to schedule another C-section, and that one was even easier than the first one. It was crazy.
Wow.
That the delivery was a little bit different.
Yes.
So she apparently got a little stuck when he was trying to pull her out, and so they used the vacuum to get her out.
Interesting. In a C-section.
Yes. And I was really freaked out. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Katie's eyes got really big when they brought out the vacuum. Like, it's okay.
Oh my gosh. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but the recovery was so easy. My scar was smaller and looked even better. I was worried that my scar was going to like be terrible looking after 2 C-sections, but it's nicer than before. And the recovery was even easier. So
Wow.
And I knew exactly what to expect too. But
any fainting this time, Christina?
No, this time I held strong. I knew what to expect. I did not turn around.
Yeah,
You're like, I'm not even going to look.
Yeah, I focused on Charlotte the entire time.
Yeah.
And
with Charlotte, they took a little bit longer to give her to me, which I was kind of annoyed about.
They had people in training in there, which I told Kate after. So they were trying to teach another girl how they do the little footprint. And I think it had Katie alarmed. I think I shouted to her, she's okay.
Yeah,
she's
with Kennedy, it literally took like seconds for them to do like whatever they do in the beginning. They're like taking their sweet time. I'm like, what are you making friends over there? Let's get her over to me, please. Yeah. So that was the only not good part. But yeah.
I'm going to have to do some research into the whole anesthesiologist and not giving an epidural with a VBAC because I haven't heard that. So I'm wondering why. Yeah,
it was something about
they don't have enough people on call or something to do with that, or what was it?
It was okay. I've heard 2 stories. I've heard it's not a super big hospital, like size, but they don't have enough like emergency operating rooms or something available if something went wrong, or the personnel. I heard that. But I also heard it has something to do with the insurance that the hospital has. I don't know.
I'm very curious now.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to ask about that. Okay, so now...
I mean, it's kind of disappointing because it would be good to have that, but...
Yeah, well, at least, like, if you wanted the option to be able to try, but then know, okay, I can get an epidural, and that'll help. Just knowing that you have options just always kind of makes you feel safer.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, it wasn't the other birth. Charlotte's birth still went beautifully. And you recovered like a champ.
Yeah.
So are you planning on any more?
Yes, I want 4, but Katie wants 3 total. So.
4 is just too many.
Every time we travel and the kids are throwing a fit, she just puts up 4 fingers and points them at my face constantly.
She's like, 4? You want 4?
That's exactly what she does. That is the exact move she did on our last trip. And I was like, yep, I do.
And she also has to remember, like, these 4 kids have to go to college eventually.
They're all going to take up a hobby of some sort.
I don't know. They better just be really brilliant.
So they can pick a sport or an instrument and get a full ride that way.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. But we are waiting until this is like our summer off from having children or doing anything with the process. Our next process we would be starting would be after next summer because we need to stop having all these babies in April. We have too many birthdays in April, and since we really want a boy, we don't need to really worry about all the clothes that we have fitting because I have so many girl clothes, but we won't really need them if we really want a boy. So we don't know. We still debate back and forth exactly who's being pregnant, whose egg are we using.
So you might change it up.
We might.
We haven't made the decision yet.
after how sick I was with Charlotte, I don't know if I want to do it again.
Katie's like, Christina, it is your turn to experience.
Exactly, yeah.
But Katie admits she is terrible at taking care of people, so bad. And so she's like, you pretty much be on your own. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the like roles that we have now work well. Like, I don't know what you call the role, but it's like our strength. Like, Christina's really good at taking care of me when I'm pregnant. She's really good at keeping the house in order.
Non-stop.
So I can just worry about being pregnant.
Mm-hmm. So if the roles were reversed, it would just be a disaster.
Christina would be cleaning.
I'd be cleaning still, like super pregnant, going about my daily jobs.
I don't know. Maybe I could really get it together.
I don't know. We'll see. The deal was that Katie was supposed to carry 3 and I was going to carry the 4th one.
That was never a thing. That's something that Christina came up with and just started telling people.
No, it's not. Katie admitted to, and this was not when she was on any drugs or anything in the hospital.
I think it was.
I don't think so. We definitely want a boy, though. We do.
Yeah,
and it's not like I wouldn't mind having 4 girls or anything. It was just that we had always planned, like, we have this boy name picked out, and we just really,
I mean, especially after the option to do it.
After calling Charlotte the name for, a couple months, we want to actually give it to an actual boy.
Yeah. My husband and I debate how many kids we want to have because he wants like 4 or 5 kids. And
there you go. I'm with him.
I'm into it, but I'm also like, I'm 32. We're not going to start trying till I'm like 33. So I'm like, we're going to have to bang it out. And I don't know how my body's going to be. Like, I don't know how, if I'm going to get sick, I don't know what my recovery is going to be like. I want to give my body a year in between to heal. I don't know if I'm going to have postpartum depression. I don't know. Right. Like, what if I have a traumatic birth? Like, I have zero ideas. So it's like, you can plan, but then you kind of have to take it one at a time, and then go from there.
And having them back to back is kind of like exhausting because even with Kennedy, like, I did have a year, but I was breastfeeding for that year. Mm-hmm. So as soon as I was done breastfeeding, I was pregnant again. So like, you don't have any time in between, like, to just be yourself, like, without a baby attached to you or baby in you.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll be out for 10 years if we have 5 kids. Like, like 10 years, I'm going to be out. My body's just a giant nipple. I'm pregnant. I'm whatever,
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. But you'll be really well prepared with your podcast, though. They'll know all
I know. Well, I feel like, it's just, I love the information that I've learned. I'm actually taking a class right now for my doula stuff, and I just continue to learn more, but you never know. There's things I'm realizing are within your control. I can do what I can do, to be the healthiest I can be, but there still are things out of your control, So it's like, but I also know now that there's so many resources for help. Like if I'm struggling with postpartum depression, I know that there's no shame in getting help. There's no shame in being like, I need help with this. I can't do it. I need to talk to somebody. I need, a postpartum doula who comes in and helps you take care of your kid, or whatever it is, that there's resources and you don't have to be isolated or feel alone in it. So it's nice because then I also hear so many stories from mamas who it's like, okay, you've been there, you survived it. I know I can survive it. You just hear all these crazy stories and then in the end, they're always like, it was worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Always. Yeah. We have a big box of needles that we've used throughout this entire time. And it amazes me every time that like we literally put all that into our bodies just to have the 2 kids we have now.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Did you find though that the IVF, like taking the hormones and injections, Katie, did you feel like it affected you emotionally, like your hormones?
Me, I think I was okay. Christina, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you had to take it. Wait, did you both have to take it? Out. Oh, got it. So, but once they were planted in you, you didn't really have to take anything, just the progesterone to keep the.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So there are a couple different medications that I had to take, but we both did the shots and all of that because they had hormones that like basically made Christina's eggs like as prime as possible. And those made her a little crazy. Christina doesn't cry
Oh, I cried a lot.
And she was crying all the time. I was like, what is wrong with her?
I also have PCOS, so I already produce a lot of eggs. So it was a lot having all those enlarged. Can definitely feel the difference, like just feeling bloated like all the time, and nothing compared to being pregnant though, of course, but I just felt gross, and then I felt sad, and then happy, and then really angry. And I went through that twice too, because our first failed round, they had to do another egg retrieval. So second time I kind of knew what to expect, but it was still bad.
Yeah. All of that can't be good for you.
No, it's not good. They don't recommend doing it. I think they said up to 3 times in 1 year. That's all you can do. So we knew we had at least maybe one more round to do this. And then after that, we would have to take a break.
Yeah. Christina's taking hormone detox pills.
I am. I finally started taking like things to kind of regulate my hormones better after that. Like I was on different medications to like get rid of my acne, and after I did IVF, it threw my hormones totally imbalanced. Like everything was a mess. So I'm finally like back to being regular, which took me, it's been 4 years. Yeah. So it took a while to get it back to being balanced, but yeah, I mean, like everyone says, it's all worth it. I would go through it again if I needed to.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think that's, though, when you're saying it, it's like, okay, I know maybe that can't be good for me. I know my hormones are, but this is how we're going to get our child. And this is what I kind of have to go through to do it. And it does make it all worth it. It's just like, I don't know. It's mind blowing to me.
It is. Yeah, it really is.
And then doing a hormonal detox. I haven't really heard of anybody doing that after doing IVF.
It was, our whole family goes to acupuncture quite a bit.
Yeah.
And the acupuncturist suggested these certain pills to take that help you get rid of bad estrogen.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and so Christina was still on birth control, and I was like, I feel like from what I read about birth control, I really don't feel like, one, you don't need it, like you're not
we're gay,
that I know of. And two, like that just can't be good for you, especially after all the hormone stuff we did with IVF. So I was like, can you please just try to take these? The acupuncturist suggested it, but also from the research I did, it like really helps people. And so she did it, and like her cycle is regular for like the first time ever.
Yeah, I've been birth control since like my junior year of high school, just to have a cycle. And when I tried going off of it, obviously because I realized I was lesbian, there's no point in taking it. So I went off of it, and I didn't have a cycle. And so when I went to my gynecologist, she told me that pretty much if I don't take birth control, I'm not going to cycle, and that could be very dangerous for your body. So you need to take something so you have a cycle. And so I was pretty nervous when Katie told me to go off of it, but it's actually working, and I feel a lot better. Yeah, it's crazy. I honestly didn't believe in it, but it really is working for me. It's been like 3 months. So.
I'm pretty into like alternative medicine.
Yeah, we just started doing that recently. So alternative medicine. Yeah, it's been working great for us. Yeah. We're all about modern medicine too. Obviously, we use it to get our kids.
Right. I think that there's a healthy balance for sure, and I know I've talked a lot on here. When something's wrong with me, I try to see, okay, what in my life can I shift? How can I fix this? Is there, like, I kind of look at my lifestyle or things I could do naturally, and then be like, okay, is there, like, maybe I need extra help. Maybe I need something a little bit more, There's some things I don't mess around with where it's like, all right, I need to. Yeah. But then there's, I talked on here before about years ago, I'd kind of messed up my hormones a little bit, and I worked with a homeopathologist, and it took me a couple of years to get balanced out because I chose to go that route, but I didn't really want to be on a medication for life, even though it would have immediately helped. Right. And for some people, that's what they would rather have. Like, I need relief from this right now, and that's my choice. That's what I'm going to go with. And for me, it wasn't that detrimental that I'm like, okay, let me see if I can try this path, see if I can correct it naturally. And then if not, see what's next. But I'm going to look into that hormonal detox. I'm into it.
Yeah, it's called, what is it? DIM Detox.
Yeah, DIM Detox. And all the, like, homeopathic, like, stores and stuff we go into, they have, like, a whole line of the DIM type of products out there.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. All right. So you said that you guys are super into traveling right now with the kids, which is probably also why you don't want to have another baby in April right now. You want a summer off to travel and do all of that.
Yeah.
I saw you guys went to Banff, which is on my list.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to go. It's
I'm like
so
obsessed with the pictures of there. I can't believe I haven't been yet.
Yeah.
And I'm obsessed with Canada. So I'm like, I need to go.
Yeah,
we were
it's so
saying
gorgeous.
it's like Katie was saying it's like the Disneyland of places to travel. Like there's people just walking around picking up like little pieces of garbage, or they're like
painting the sidewalk.
Oh
they're
my
having flowers, like
Yeah.
flowers died, let's replant them. Just everything is picture perfect there, and everyone is so sweet, so kind and helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just the sights that we saw, obviously you said you saw our pictures, but they just like, you can see them in a picture and it looks beautiful, but once you're in front of it, it's like, it just doesn't look real. It's crazy.
I don't think it looks real in pictures. That's why I'm like, in person, it has to be like,
So you have to go.
yeah. And I'm upset. I'm a mountain person. So
Oh yeah,
You'll love it.
Oh, it's on my list. So where's
there's a
next?
mountain just when you walk around town.
Yeah, just the town itself is just surrounded by mountains.
Actually, on Thursday we're leaving for Spain.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're taking the kids on an LGBT cruise. So should be fun. And they're taking us to Spain, France, and Italy.
Oh, how
so
fun.
It should be lots of fun putting those passports to good use for the kids.
And you, okay. So how do you travel with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old?
The 3-year-old's easy. It's the 1-year-old that's a problem.
Yeah.
She's at that point where she thinks she can walk everywhere, but she's literally been walking for like 3 weeks, so she can't walk at all.
Yeah. And so she like just doesn't want to sit still, like
crawl.
So we try our best, like when we're either like on a plane or a bus or something, to have her sleep, because she's just honestly, she's just annoying. She's awake.
When she's angry, she's angry. But the thing is, if a stranger talks to her, she lights up and acts like this sweet little innocent baby. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, your baby's so cute.
And we're like, she's lying.
And then as soon as they walk away, she starts screaming at us. And we're like, Charlotte, what is going on? And then Kennedy's always, playing her to be the villain in one of her Disney movies. So she's, she's obsessed with Tangled right now. And the evil mother in Tangled is Mother Gothel. So Charlotte's being a Mother Gothel right now. Constantly, all the trip. Yeah. So Kennedy is actually our sweet little angel on it, and she is easier to talk to about things because she's
semi-rational.
She knows that she's responsible for her own things. If she doesn't want to carry her own things, we say that we'll give them to someone else. And if you don't want to carry your own stuff, it's like you have your own things to do on the plane. We have our own stuff.
No, she has
gotten really good, and she uses her imagination on the plane, which is awesome. Yeah.
On the way back from Canada, she just sat in her seat and like just looked around and played with whatever was on her tray table. Like she was so good.
And the first flight was not like that with her. Let me tell you, it was like it was like entertain me. What do you have for me? Keep me happy. I'm going to scream if you don't. And so she's getting good. She's grown a lot.
Yeah. Do you think maybe giving her some responsibility of being like, well, we're carrying this, you have to carry that, like giving her own job has maybe helped with that?
Yeah. And we made it into a pretty big deal. It wasn't until this last trip actually to Canada that we bought her own backpack, and she matches with us.
Oh my gosh, stop.
Yeah. So
you have your own backpack.
We each have our backpack, so she knows like that is her backpack and whatever is in it is hers. And it's like, if she doesn't like what's in it, then we can just get rid of it. If it's too heavy, well then let's take that out and get rid of it, kind of a thing. And she can't fit a lot in that backpack anyway, so there's only so many things to put in there.
Yeah. And then the 1-year-old, you're just still trying to figure out how to.
She's just at that stage. Yeah.
If she's eating or sleeping, those are the two best options for her.
Exactly. Yeah. But besides that, she just wants to walk around. And if she can't, then she gets angry about it. But that's just her age. But we also figure, like, she's going to act like this at home. So we might as well just go someplace cool. She could act like that there, you know?
Yeah, and we've gotten, we've embraced more germs since our first child. I think our first child, we're germaphobes still, but just on trips, we just know they're gross.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they roll on the floor. They want to sit in the bathroom. I mean, Charlotte's probably the grosser one because she crawls everywhere, but we just learned, like, if this is a spot to put her down, then we're going to put her down because on a bus or a plane, she can't be crawling around or walking. So we put her down in places we know she can get her energy out.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I mean, eating and sleeping, that kind of keeps me satisfied traveling too.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't really blame her, right?
That's what we think.
That's so much fun. Well, that'll be a really fun trip. I've actually never been on a cruise because I get motion sickness and I'm terrified of it. But I heard that they have like patches and they have these different things to help. And everyone who goes on cruises, they're like, it's not that bad. And I'm like, yeah, right, I'm going to die. So.
And then you'll be in the middle of the ocean. You can't do anything about
I know. Well, I love to travel. I've traveled all over the world, but I've never done a cruise. And I really want to go on an Alaskan cruise. I'm so surprised. I've never seen whales in my life because I've gone to a lot of places that have them. And I've never seen a whale. And I'm like, I have to go see a whale. And I want to do an Alaskan cruise, but I'm like, I'm going to get stranded on a ship and I'm going to be like, I'm going to get motion sickness. I'm going to be puking my brains out. I'm going to have a horrible time. Yeah. And then, I don't know. Then there's going to be some sort of Titanic thing and there's one door I can float on.
Oh, yeah. So I used to be against cruises too. This is my first cruise and I didn't like the idea of it. I mean, it looks like a whole little town on there, so I'll just try not to think that we're on the water.
You don't even know you're on a ship. You're like, it's like a floating city.
It freaks me out that it's that big and it can float on water too. So there's just a lot of things that scare me about it. And then when I heard about that one that was stranded out there for like a week, I'm like, why did they keep them out there for a week? Like, send an airplane and get them out. Like, I don't know. Chopper them back in. Like, that part kind of freaks me out. But this one isn't known to have any breakdowns, so I haven't seen any in the news, so I think we're okay.
Yeah, I know. I know it's just an irrational fear too, you know?
Yeah.
My husband had a problem with flying, but we went to Thailand a few months ago and he did awesome. And he's like, I think I just built it up in my mind. And then now I'm, you know.
Okay. Yeah, once you do it a few times.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thailand.
And it's a great place for kids. I've been to Thailand a few times, and every single time I'm there, I see parents with their kids in backpacks. I see families everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, we fit right in.
Yeah.
And it's not that expensive, right?
So cheap. Yeah. Okay. We actually got a crazy good deal on our flights, too. I think we paid it was less than $700 round trip each.
Jeez.
And then once you get there, you can live it up as much as you want, but you can also find like nice places that aren't super expensive. And then of course there's like the first couple times I stayed in hostels and I couch surfed, but you know, we went on our honeymoon, so we didn't do that. But it was still such a cost-effective trip. I'm like, okay, we can go to Chiang Mai and do this and fly to the islands and do that. And you can find things that are very cost-effective in Thailand. So
that's great.
Yeah, you should put it on your list to take the kids one day.
Definitely.
The only thing is the long plane ride.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's true.
Yeah.
But
we'll see how we do on one.
Is this going to be your longest one with the girls?
Yes.
Yeah, we've done Hawaii, which is
that's
like
only 6 hours.
6 hours, but this one is really, really long.
It's what, 12?
12 hours, I think.
10 there, 12 back. I don't know how that works.
And that's because you're flying from California, yeah?
Yeah. So
California to Spain.
Yeah.
That'll be so fun, though. I look forward to seeing the photos.
Thank you.
Me too.
Yeah.
Can't wait. I want to see what they end up looking like.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. For people who want to follow your journey, where can they find you at?
Our Instagram is Baby Bailey Mama Drama, and they can find that on Instagram as well as YouTube.
I didn't know you guys have a YouTube channel.
We do, yeah.
What?
Christina makes some good videos. She's gotten pretty good at it.
I'm finishing up our video of Canada right now, so.
I love video editing. I get lost in it, but I haven't done it in so long.
Yeah, it's fun. Sometimes exhausting when you don't have enough time to do it because you're so committed and you want to get it done. Mm-hmm. And then you have interruptions. So I'm learning to not be so committed in the moment and learn to break it up.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited that the listeners got to hear from you.
Thank you.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. It was so awesome hearing from Katie and Christina. And now I am so curious about who's going to carry their next baby. So I will definitely be following their journey to see who wins that battle. Again, like they said, if you want to check them out, it's Baby Bailey Mama Drama. I think I said that right. And if you're not a part of the Facebook group, do not forget to join it, where we talk about so many things where women just find support in motherhood and women's issues. It's in Facebook, Miraculous Mamas by Elizabeth Sandos. There's the Patreon, which is our community where we share tons more birth stories from the women in the community. That's also Miraculous Mamas. There's the Miraculous Mamas Instagram. And if you're liking what you're hearing and you want to support the podcast, give us a great review. And share it with somebody who needs to hear it or who can relate to it. Also, if you haven't checked out my website, there's tons of stuff going up on there that is awesome and I'm really proud of and excited about. It's elizabethjoy.co. So don't forget to check that out. And I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of June. I will talk to you in July.
Podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.